I saw my sister's message. Don't trust mom. And the floor seemed to vanish beneath me. Was everything I believed about my family a lie? Rain pattered against the glass of my office window, mimicking the storm brewing inside me. 3 years. 3 years I'd poured my heart and soul into Zenith Corp, fueled by lukewarm coffee and the promise of a brighter future. A future, I kept reminding myself, that hinged on that elusive promotion, that much-needed raise. Remember that online performance evaluation, the one where I scored in the top 10%? Yeah, that was me. Sophia Miller, dedicated employee. Yet every year, the same story. We appreciate your hard work, Sophia, but budget cuts, company restructuring, the classic song and dance. What would you have done? Just kept taking it? Fueled by pure desperation and a growing sense of injustice, I started discreetly updating my resume during my lunch breaks. A little here, a little there. Sneaking phone calls with recruiters in the building stairwell. It felt empowering, terrifying, and incredibly sneaky all at once. I even started using a burner phone, a relic from my college days, to keep my conversations private. Paranoid? Maybe. But the thought of another year scraping by, watching my savings dwindle, was enough to justify any measure. I found a promising opening at Stellar Tech, a company known for its innovation and, wait for it, generous salaries. The interview went great. I felt a spark, a renewed sense of hope. I practically skipped out of the building, picturing my life with a decent paycheck and a boss who actually valued my contributions. Then came the call. Not the one I was expecting from Stellar Tech. It was Brenda, my boss at Zenith. Her voice was cold, brittle, like shattered ice. Sophia, can you come to my office? Now. My stomach plummeted. How did she know? Had someone seen me at the Stellar Tech office? Had my burner phone been compromised? The possibilities swirled in my head like a toxic vortex. Walking into Brenda's office was like entering a courtroom. The air was thick with tension. She didn't offer me a seat. Didn't even look me in the eye. I've seen your activity, Sophia. The calls, the emails, the interview. My face flushed. Brenda, I can explain. There's nothing to explain. Your services are no longer required. Effective immediately. Security will escort you from the building. Fired. Just like that. After 3 years of loyalty. After countless late nights and weekend projects. I was dismissed like a malfunctioning robot. I wanted to scream, to yell, to throw the nearest object at her smug face. But I didn't. I just nodded, gathered my belongings, and walked out, head held high, trying to ignore the burning shame and the gnawing fear. As security led me through the office, I saw the pitying glances, the hushed whispers. It felt like a public execution. But amidst the humiliation, a tiny spark of defiance ignited within me. She thought she'd broken me? She thought I'd just crawl away and disappear? She had no idea what I was capable of. What she didn't know was that I had a game plan, a secret weapon forged from years of pent-up frustration and a deep-seated belief in my own abilities. I took a deep breath as I stepped out of the Zenith Corp building and into the pouring rain. The city lights blurred around me, a kaleidoscope of possibilities. My phone buzzed. It was a message from an unknown number. They're watching you. Who? Who is watching me, and why? I hailed a ride, my mind racing. This wasn't just about losing my job anymore. This felt bigger, more sinister. I arrived at my tiny apartment, the rain still pounding against the windows. It felt like a sanctuary, a fortress against the storm. I changed into dry clothes and made myself a strong cup of tea, trying to calm my frayed nerves. I unlocked my computer, the glow of the screen illuminating my face. The first thing I did was check my bank account. My savings were dwindling, that was for sure, but I had enough to survive for a few months, maybe longer if I was careful. Then I opened my LinkedIn profile. It was time to activate my network. I started reaching out to former colleagues, industry contacts, even old college professors. I explained my situation, emphasizing my skills and experience. The response was overwhelming. People were genuinely supportive, offering advice, leads, and even job referrals. It was a lifeline. One message stood out. It was from David, a former colleague who had left Zenith a year ago to start his own tech company. He wrote, "Sophia, I heard what happened. That's rough. I always admired your work ethic. I might have something that could interest you. Give me a call." David was a brilliant programmer and a savvy entrepreneur. He was also someone I trusted implicitly. I dialed his number immediately. "David, it's Sophia. Thanks for reaching out." "Sophia, glad I caught you. Look, I'm working on a new project, something that could really shake things up in the industry. I need someone with your expertise, someone who's not afraid to challenge the status quo. Are you interested?" My heart leaped. This was it, my chance to turn things around. "Absolutely, David. Tell me more." He explained his vision for a new software platform that would revolutionize data analytics. It was ambitious, innovative, and exactly the kind of challenge I craved. "There's just one catch," he said. "We're a small startup. Funding is tight. I can't offer you a huge salary right away, but I can offer you equity in the company, a significant share." Equity. It was a gamble, but it was a gamble I was willing to take. "I'm in, David. When do I start?" I started working with David the following week. Our office was a small, cluttered space above a coffee shop, but it was buzzing with energy and excitement. We were a small team, but we were passionate and driven. We worked long hours, fueled by coffee and the shared belief that we were building something special. Meanwhile, I continued to investigate the anonymous message I'd received. "They're watching you." Who were they? I asked around, subtly probing my network for information. I even hired a cybersecurity expert, a quirky guy named Alex who looked like he hadn't slept in days. He assured me he could find out who was behind the message. Days turned into weeks, and our software platform began to take shape. We secured our first major client, a Fortune 500 company looking for a competitive edge. Things were looking up, but the anonymous messages continued. They grew increasingly threatening, hinting at exposing my past, revealing secrets I thought I'd buried long ago. One evening, as I was working late in the office, Alex called me. His voice was urgent. "Sophia, I've traced the anonymous messages. They're coming from inside Zenith Corp." My blood ran cold. Inside Zenith? That meant Brenda, or someone close to her, was trying to sabotage me, but why? What did she have to gain? "I need to know who, Alex. Can you find out?" "I'm working on it, Sophia, but be careful. Whoever's behind this is playing dirty." And this one was different. It wasn't a threat. It was an invitation. "Meet me at the old warehouse on Bleecker Street. Midnight. Come alone." It was a trap. I knew it. But I couldn't ignore it. I had to find out who was trying to destroy me. That night, I drove to the warehouse, my heart pounding in my chest. The neon city lights flashed over the deserted alley, casting long, eerie shadows. I parked my car a block away and walked the rest of the way, my senses on high alert. The warehouse was dilapidated, with boarded-up windows and a rusty metal door. I pushed it open and stepped inside. The air was thick with dust and the smell of decay. A single spotlight illuminated the center of the room. Standing in the light was Brenda. "Brenda, what is this? Why are you doing this?" She smirked. "You really thought you could just walk away, Sophia? After everything I did for you?" "Did for me? You denied me raises. You passed me over for promotions. You fired me for trying to improve my life. I gave you a job, Sophia. I gave you stability. And you repaid me by stabbing me in the back." "Stabbing you in the back? I was just looking for a better opportunity. Don't play innocent. You were trying to undermine me, trying to take my position." "That's insane, Brenda." "Is it? Because I know about your little startup. I know about your plans to disrupt the industry, and I can't let that happen." "Why? What do you care?" Because if you succeed, it will make me look bad. It will expose my failures. And I can't afford that, Sophia. I have too much to lose. It all made sense now. Brenda wasn't just threatened by my ambition. She was terrified of being exposed. She had built her career on lies and deception, and she saw me as a threat to her carefully constructed facade. "What are you going to do, Brenda? Are you going to kill me?" I asked, trying to sound braver than I felt. She laughed. "Don't be ridiculous. I'm not a murderer. I'm just going to make sure you never succeed. I'm going to destroy your reputation, ruin your business, and make you wish you had never crossed me." She pulled out a USB drive. "I have evidence, Sophia. Evidence of your indiscretions. Things you wouldn't want your clients to see. Things that could land you in jail." My heart sank. What was on that drive? What secrets had she uncovered? "Give me the drive, Brenda. Let's just end this." "Not a chance. This is my insurance policy, my way of making sure you stay in your place." She turned to leave, but I couldn't let her go. I lunged forward, grabbing her arm. "Give me the drive, Brenda." She struggled, trying to break free. In the struggle, the USB drive fell to the floor. I scrambled to pick it up, but Brenda kicked it away. It skidded across the concrete floor and disappeared into the shadows. "Find it, Sophia, if you can. But even if you do, it won't matter. I have copies. Everywhere." She walked out of the warehouse, leaving me alone in the darkness. What would you do? Just give up? I searched for the USB drive, frantically feeling around in the shadows, but it was gone. Lost. I returned to my apartment, defeated. I had lost. Brenda had won. My career was over. My reputation was ruined. But as I sat there staring at the rain-streaked window, something shifted inside me. I refused to let her win. I refused to let her destroy me. I called David. "David, we have a problem. Brenda knows about our project. She has evidence that could destroy us." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. "What kind of evidence, Sophia?" "I don't know exactly, but it's bad. Really bad." "Okay, Sophia, don't panic. We'll figure this out. We always do." David was right. We had faced challenges before, and we had always overcome them. We just needed a plan. I told him everything that had happened, including the USB drive and Brenda's threats. "This is serious, Sophia," he said. "We need to find out what's on that drive, and we need to find it before Brenda releases it to the public." Alex worked tirelessly, scanning the internet for any sign of the evidence. He also investigated Brenda's online activity, looking for clues about her plan. Days passed, and the tension mounted. I could feel Brenda closing in, tightening the noose around my neck. Then, one afternoon, Alex called me. His voice was triumphant. "Sophia, I found it. I found the evidence." "Where? What is it?" "It's a collection of emails, documents, and photos. They're designed to paint you in the worst possible light. But they're all fabricated. Fake. Fake. You mean Brenda made them up?" "Exactly. She's trying to frame you, Sophia. She's trying to destroy you." "But why? Why go to such extreme lengths? What was she hiding?" "There's something else, Sophia," Alex continued. "I also found evidence of Brenda's own wrongdoings. She's been embezzling money from Zenith Corp for years." My jaw dropped. Brenda, the paragon of corporate ethics, was a thief? How much money? "Millions, Sophia. She's been siphoning off funds into offshore accounts. She's been living a double life. That's why she was so desperate to protect her position. That's why she was so afraid of being exposed." "Can you prove it, Alex? Can you get the evidence to the authorities?" "I can, Sophia, but it's going to be risky. Brenda is powerful. She has connections. She could make this disappear." "I don't care about the risk, Alex. We have to do it. We have to expose her." We contacted the authorities and presented them with the evidence. They launched an investigation into Brenda's activities. The news of the investigation sent shockwaves through Zenith Corp. Brenda was suspended, and her reputation was shattered. A few weeks later, she was arrested and charged with embezzlement and fraud. The evidence was overwhelming. She had no choice but to plead guilty. As for me, I was exonerated. The fabricated evidence was exposed, and my name was cleared. But the experience had changed me. I had seen the dark side of corporate power, the lengths people would go to protect their own interests. I decided I couldn't go back to Zenith Corp. I couldn't work for a company that had allowed Brenda to thrive for so long. I devoted myself fully to my startup with David. We worked harder than ever, driven by a shared sense of purpose. Our software platform was a huge success. We disrupted the industry, challenged the status quo, and made a real difference in the world. We even secured a contract with Zenith Corp, the very company that had fired me just months before. It was a sweet victory. Brenda's actions had backfired. She had tried to destroy me, but she had only made me stronger. But the story doesn't end there. Remember my sister's message, "Don't trust Mom." While all this corporate drama unfolded, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off with my family. My sister, Emily, had always been my rock, my confidant. But lately, she had been distant, secretive. And that message? I tried calling her, but she didn't answer. I texted her, but she didn't reply. I was starting to panic. I drove to my parents' house, hoping to find her there. But when I arrived, the house was empty. My parents were gone. Emily was gone. A note lay on the kitchen table. It was addressed to me. "Sophia, we had to leave. Don't try to find us. It's for your own good." The note was signed by my mother. What was going on? What were they running from? And what did they mean, "for your own good"? I felt a knot of dread tighten in my stomach. This wasn't just a family disagreement. This was something much bigger. I started digging into my family's past, searching for clues about their sudden disappearance. I scoured old documents, photo albums, anything that could shed light on their secrets. Then I found something. A hidden folder on my mother's computer. Inside, I found a series of encrypted files. I contacted Alex again, begging him to help me decrypt the files. He agreed, but he warned me that it could be dangerous. "These files are heavily encrypted, Sophia. Whoever created them doesn't want anyone to see what's inside." It took Alex several days to crack the encryption. When he, "Sophia, you're not going to believe what I found." The files contained evidence of a decades-old crime, a crime that involved my mother and father, a crime that had been buried for years, a crime that had the potential to destroy our entire family. My parents had been involved in a financial scam, defrauding investors out of millions of dollars. They had used the money to build their lavish lifestyle, to send me and Emily to private schools, to buy their dream home. The investors had never recovered their money. Some of them had lost everything. My parents had been living a lie for years, hiding their past from everyone, including me and Emily. But someone had discovered their secret. Someone was blackmailing them. That's why they had fled. That's why they had left me that note. But where was Emily? Was she involved in the scam? Was she in danger? I had to find them. I had to know the truth. I used Alex's skills to track my parents' movements. I followed their digital trail, piecing together their escape route. They were hiding in a small town in Canada, living under assumed names. I confronted them, demanding to know the truth. They confessed everything, their voices filled with shame and regret. Emily wasn't involved in the scam, they said. She had been just as shocked as I was to learn the truth, but she had chosen to stay with them, to support them, even though she knew what they had done was wrong. I was torn. I loved my parents, but I couldn't condone their actions. They had hurt so many people. They had betrayed my trust. I had a choice to make. I could protect them, keep their secret, and let them continue to live a lie. Or I could expose them, bring them to justice, and risk destroying our family forever. What would you choose? Could you forgive them? I thought about the victims of their scam, the people who had lost everything. I thought about the pain and suffering they had caused. I made my decision. I contacted the authorities in Canada, and provided them with the evidence of my parents' crimes. They were arrested and extradited back to the United States. The trial was a media circus. The details of the scam were splashed across the headlines. My family was disgraced. My parents were convicted and sentenced to prison. They had to pay restitution to their victims. They had to face the consequences of their actions. Emily and I visited them in prison. It was difficult, but we knew it was the right thing to do. My family was broken, but it wasn't destroyed. We had faced the truth, and we were slowly starting to heal. I returned to my startup, more determined than ever to make a difference in the world. I used my success to help others, to give back to the community, to make amends for my parents' wrongdoings. And so, my story comes to a close. I lost my job. I was betrayed by my boss, and I discovered a shocking secret about my family. But I didn't let those experiences define me. I used them as fuel to create a better life for myself and for others. I chose forgiveness over revenge. I chose truth over lies. I chose hope over despair. My journey wasn't easy, but it was worth it. I learned that even in the darkest of times, there is always light, and that even after you've been fired after 3 years of hard work, success will always be the best revenge. What would you have done differently? What choices would you have made? Write what you choose. If you enjoyed my story, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And remember, never give up on your dreams, even when the odds are stacked against you. You never know what you're capable of until you try. You too can take control of your future. The old warehouse seemed a lifetime ago. Zenith Corp, a distant memory. Now, standing on the balcony of my own office building, overlooking the city lights, I felt a profound sense of peace. Stellar Tech, once a dream, was now a booming enterprise, changing the world one line of code at a time. I'd proven Brenda wrong. I'd proven my parents wrong. Most importantly, I'd proven myself right. Emily and I were working on rebuilding our relationship slowly, carefully. It wouldn't be the same, not after everything, but there was hope. And that, I realized, was the most powerful thing of all. To choose hope, to choose forgiveness, to choose to rebuild, even when everything feels shattered. My phone buzzed. It was a text from Emily. Dinner tonight? My treat. A small smile touched my lips. Maybe, just maybe, we could find our way back to each other. The city lights twinkled below, each one a tiny spark of possibility.